from the field today?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. You know, it's we're getting towards the end of the season, and it's our last home match, and I thought our guys came out, you know, fired up and ready to wrestle. You know, and just proud of them the way they wrestled today.
The crowd obviously getting 10,000 people in here, set a new average attendance record. Just kind of what did you think of the atmosphere today?
Sweet. You know, it's pretty dang awesome. You know, what was it, 10,700 today? Is that what it was? You know, it's pretty dang close to a sellout here. Historically, that just, you know, it's not something you see here all the time. You know, you don't see that. You don't see that in many places. You know, do we have a wrestling place they can get 11,000 people for a wrestling match? I mean, that's pretty damn special. It's just proud of the guys and the way they're wrestling. You know, and I'm so grateful for the fans. You know, we talk about what Oklahoma State wrestling means to this country, right? To the state of Oklahoma and the surrounding states, and we're starting to see that slowly and throughout the season. You know, so highest average attendance in history, and you know, and finishing the season here with a great single match attendance. You know, it's great momentum as we move into next year's home schedule. But right now we still got, you know, we have some tough matches here on the road to finish out the season. So got to keep building with that momentum.
Could you said earlier in the year, it felt like, you know, you've only been here a year, but you felt like you've lived multiple lifetimes with these guys. You've seen guys like Plot and Server and Hammy have already made just an impact in one season, and obviously the guys that have made impacts throughout their careers. Just how did it feel to see them go out there one last time and obviously be embraced by the crowd as they walked up from that?
You know, it's an interesting time in college athletics, you know, but I just think it shows the love and support for wrestling here. I mean, these guys are beloved, like they've been here for forever, you know. And I mean, I just felt like, you know, just going out there and shaking the hands of our seniors and just what we've all been through this year. You know, it's just a special group. You know, you're gonna remember them forever. You remember every group that comes through and finishes, but this group, it's like a group that you always remember. And I don't know why, but you know, when Caleb was coming up, I kind of had some tears in my eyes. You know, I was just thinking about just his journey this year, you know, and him stepping up, and it's just pretty cool to see. You know, just every single one of them, just the time they put into it and the belief in what we're doing. You know, it could have been easy for those guys to just, when we got here, they could be like, this is new, I don't want to be here, I'll do something new. You know, there's gonna be a change. They didn't, you know, and they freaking believed in what we were doing, and they bought in, and they become leaders, and they've had a great season. So I mean, this group's gonna be a group that's gonna be remembered forever, and you know, just grateful for them.
You're not going to want to go here, but because of your last comment, I'm going to ask. Every one of those guys talked back in October and November about how cool it was to watch their coach prepare for competition while they were preparing for competition. Do you look back on that now? Because I know you had questions about it and say, ooh, that was a smart decision. That turned my guys on a little bit.
Well, I just felt like you get in here and you lead by example, you know, and I think we were asking them to do a lot of things that they maybe didn't want to do, you know, live their life a certain way and train a certain way. And, you know, I had a small itch to still go compete. So I felt like it was a good way that we could do it together, you know, and they were all part of that journey with me. They helped me, you know, and in return, you know, we're here to help them. And it's not me, it's our whole group, our whole staff. It's a whole support staff, you know, but, yeah, I mean, they you know, we were new here. They embraced us, you know, and so they've been great. And I think it was a unique year, and it's a unique time, and you know, they've just been a pleasure to work with.
Retrospectively, you know, you brought Plot with you to the trials. How much do you think that trip helped him, looking back on it?
I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but I just think you just see the vulnerability it takes to train at that level. You know, it's like you see your coach, and then you also see, you know, the vulnerability it takes to train at that level. You make mistakes. You have bad days. And I think that's what they saw. Like, I just thought when you get to that level, you don't have bad days. Like, no, you do. You know, there's other things that are going on in your life. And no matter what happens, okay, well, I would train in the morning and then coach in the afternoon. You know, and I think that they had a lot of respect for that. And Plot, I think just we developed a much closer relationship because of, I mean, we trained together a lot. But I trained with all those guys. You know, it was Wyatt and Server and Plot and DJ and Braden, Jersey, you know, all of our bigger guys, you know. I was training with them, incorporating them in my training, and they got to feel that level of competitiveness and just raise the level of our room. So, but all of our coaches do that. I mean, wrestling with Thomas, wrestling with Jimmy, wrestling with Tyler. I mean, they're just, we wrestle all the time, so they're always used to it, and I think you need guys, the kids need to see that. They need to know what it's like to be pushed to that level, so when they get out there, they felt it, and they know what it's like to wrestle at that level. This is not a surprise to them. That's why ROTC is so important. It's all part of the short-term plan, long-term plan of how we're going to, become the best wrestling program in the country. It takes time, but you need guys to feel those levels, and they go out and compete with confidence.
What more can you say about DJ? I mean,
just relentless. You talk about wrestling, the way wrestling should be done. I mean, he's a good representation of that. And just the trust that he's developed. I think the Virginia Tech match was big. It's like at the beginning of the year, maybe didn't want to cut guys as much because he's really good on top. And, he cut the guy short time, got that takedown. And now it's like he just looks over every time. And am I cutting him? Am I taking him down? He's starting to have a feel for that. And it's an art. Like to dominate somebody, it's an art. It's not the same formula every single time. Sometimes a little more riding time. Sometimes it's a turn. Sometimes a couple more takedowns. Sometimes he's had times where he's had to shoot 10 times in a row to get his first takedown, right? So I just think he's learning how to do that. He's been a staple in the second half of our lineup when we've needed him this year. So yeah, it's he's a fun guy to watch.
When you talk about that sort of aspect of dominating a guy, obviously the points that come along with dominating a guy are important, but I get the sense that maybe the mental aspect of winning that way is maybe more important to you. Is that, am I overstating that?
It's not important to me.
Well, no, I mean,
it's
in
just
terms of building your team and,
Yeah.
and the style of wrestling that you have.
It's just a standard that we're going to wrestle. That's what we're training to do. We're not trained to win matches. You could wrestle a really hard match and you may end up only winning, but we're not content to do that. And it takes comfortability, it takes confidence, it takes skill, it takes a lot of things to do that. And it's just, but guys start leading by example and it starts to trickle down. So, we're programmed. We're going to keep scoring. That's what we're going to do. It's kind of funny, once you do that, you just get held to that standard right away. And it's not always that easy, but that's what separates good wrestlers and great wrestlers, and good programs and great programs, and we're just got to keep building that reputation.
when you say that, Steed gave Cameron Amin a pretty good run tonight. I mean, and he wrestled well. It's a 2-1 match. But what does a guy get out of that? I mean, Cameron had to take care of business in the third period to make sure he got the result, at least, he wanted.
That's been Cam's specialty, right, in his career. I mean, he's pretty good in those situations, and I think he's pretty comfortable there. It would give himself a little bit more wiggle room if when he goes the matches this year when he's gotten the first period takedown. He's been in a situation to go get bonus points, and I think that's the formula. It's really, if you don't get the first period takedown, it makes it pretty difficult. You're in a dogfight, and but you know what? Sometimes you don't get the first period takedown. You got to find a way, and he did a good job tonight. Found a way, savvy, how to ride him out or get enough riding time to race that riding time clock, and sometimes just the way it goes, but Cam's a veteran. He's been around for a long time, and did what he had to do tonight. But I know he's critical about it. He's telling me some things he need to do different. That's kind of mentality that's keeps you hungry.
Why did you go with Coulter, and what did you see out of him?
Coulter's a tough kid. He was in the middle of a tournament yesterday. He was 3-0, and we said, hey, we need you tomorrow. He's like, okay. He came home. He was 5 pounds over, got his weight down, wrestled today, and wrestled tough. It's like, yeah, he was in there. He's in a fight today. I'm proud of him. I told him that, man, dude, I'm proud of you. He didn't win the match today, but I'm proud of the way he fought. He's a young kid. He had some tough matches this year. Been on the road a couple times and wrestled for us early beginning of the year and wrestled here. That's what you ask for. You ask for guys to step up when you need them, and he stepped up today. So, although he didn't win, proud of the way he wrestled.
He can be back soon?
I think so. Yeah. He'll be ready to go next week.
Has a decision been made on 33?
I think it's still trying to figure that out. I think Reese did a good job tonight. We'll see who's going to wrestle next week, but it's still, we're getting closer to figuring that out, and we got a couple more matches.
The kid Plot wrestled a pretty highly regarded guy. He's only a freshman, but that was kind of a trap spot for Plot with all the 10,000 people in the stands. It's a senior night. Just kind of how did you think he handled the moment going up against a tough kid like that?
Trap spot.
That might have been a little strong, but
yeah, I don't know about that. No, we're just going out and trying wrestle. You know, Sinclair's a tough kid. I mean, he's really tough, and they wanted to test the waters tonight, probably to see how he's going to do. And Dustin looked really good. He looked really good. He came out really good first period, rode hard. You know, was really close with tech fall at the end and lost a scramble. You know, and he looked good. But Sinclair's tough. I mean, he was a big prospect coming out and really good scrambler. Plot did a good job of securing his takedowns and building his lead.
I'll take my chances for getting slammed for this question, but I watched Penn State Iowa wrestle Friday night. I'd watch that any day of the week if I could, and I couldn't help myself but start comparing because we're getting closer to postseason. How do our guys stack up with their guys? Of course, there's a duel coming up with Iowa. Did you watch that match the other night?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Do you find yourself, okay, how do we stack up with Merriweather? How do we stack up? You know, no, too early?
Just, you know, we're trying to be the best versions of us. You know, just you don't get very far in wrestling if you're a fan of someone else or of another program. You know, Penn State's a great program and Iowa's a great program. They got great wrestlers. We're a great program. We got great wrestlers. We just got to be the best versions of ourselves, and we just got to keep getting better every day.
What more does Wyatt need to do in this next month to, you know, get to that where he wants to be, you know, as a national champion? What he's, you know, had a lot of pins, been pretty dominant all season. I mean, what does he need to do this next month to get there?
I just think it's just small things, you know. Obviously that's a tough weight class, you know, some really good guys there. You know, I think Wyatt is very skilled in all three positions, you know, and we just got to keep improving and challenging our opponents. You know, Wyatt's a good scrambler. He's good on his feet. He's really good on top. He gets off the bottom. He can create scrambles. So we just got to keep doing what we do. You know, see how the chips fall at the end of the year, you know, but, you know, Wyatt's just trying to get better every day.
Couldn't help but notice after that first takedown, you guys was kind of ridiculous. I looked over at you, you were like kind of almost covering your face laughing. What were you thinking of that first exchange? Yeah, there it is.
I was like,
it was that.
This is what we're doing. Like, we're about to give me a heart attack, you know, but you know, Wyatt's a showman. You know, he wanted to go out on top with the pin, and, you know, he sacrificed some positioning there, a lot of positioning, but he's also, you know, he's scary in those positions. You know, he finishes on top. Like this summer when I would wrestle him, you know, I was able to kind of really challenge him in those areas, and then as time went on, he realized he was 60 pounds bigger than me and way stronger, and got a lot harder to wrestle in those positions. But I think he's just comfortable in a lot of areas. But that's, you know, talk about the end of the year, that's an area that can be improved a little bit. You know, rolling across your back's not always going to work for you, but it did tonight, and, you know, got people up on their feet and they were pumped. You know, Wyatt's had a big impact on our program. I mean, the way he wrestles. I mean, sometimes heavyweight people are walking out the door, no one's leaving their seats before Wyatt wrestles, and you know, it's just the way he goes out and competes.